Alaska carries a rich history of Bigfoot lore, along with some striking pieces of video evidence. Among the most notable is what's known as the Ketchikan Bigfoot footage. As the name suggests, it was captured in Ketchikan, a small coastal town in southeast Alaska, surrounded by temperate rainforest, steep mountains, and logging country. The video first surfaced on YouTube in May 2011, uploaded by a user under the name Patua76. In it, the filmer begins recording after spotting what appears to be a sasquatch. It manages to capture remarkably clear footage.
Oh shit, there it is again, there it is. There it is. Oh my god. Oh my god. There it is, it's right behind that tree. Oh my god, I'm tripping out, I'm shaking. Oh Jesus. Oh man.
At first, we can barely make out something darting quickly through the dense foliage. The cameraman stays composed, keeping the creature in frame as best he can, until he manages to capture a clearer look. The figure appears strikingly lifelike, and his frightened reaction feels completely authentic. The tension rises even further when the lens briefly catches his face, staring directly back at him.
I have no idea where I went. My heart's pounding a million miles an hour. I saw it down by the creek.
In the footage, we catch a glimpse of a dark, ape-like face, something resembling Bigfoot, trying to conceal itself among the dense vegetation. For just a moment it's visible, before the witness bolts in fear. The video, simply titled Bigfoot Ketchikan, came without any polished backstory. It was just raw, shaky, unedited footage. That rough authenticity is exactly what helped it spread quickly among cryptid enthusiasts. The Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, BFRO, which catalogs sightings, pointed out that this was one of the first notable reports from the Ketchikan area. Most prior Alaskan encounters had been recorded farther inland or in the northern parts of the state. Ketchikan's location itself adds weight to the story, surrounded by nearly impenetrable forest and accessible only by boat or plane. It provides a believable setting for such an encounter. Supporters also claim the figure's proportions, tall, broad-shouldered, and moving with a long stride, don't align with someone simply wearing a costume. For many, this makes the footage not only plausible, but also one of the most significant and widely recognized pieces of Bigfoot evidence ever captured in Alaska. As the sun dipped behind the ridges of the remote mountains, former military tracker Russell trailed a series of unusual signs: deep footprints, claw marks, and heavy impressions along an abandoned railway.
That looks an awful lot like a footprint. This would be a left foot, with the big toe being here. Something with a flat surface literally stepped off the tracks and came back up. You can see 1, 2, 3. 3 impressions right back up on these tracks. This is nice. It's secluded, private. You drop down into this, and you've got 4 or 5 feet of bank that you can use as cover. If I'm being hunted by something on the bank and I want to hide quickly, this is the perfect place to go. You've got so much separation between you and whatever's above you. What better protection than these earth walls around you? It's soundproof. It's foolproof from thermal.
Whatever lurked out there was massive, powerful, and moving with clear intent.
Something big is using these tracks. The only thing I can do right now is keep following this trail. We're gonna find it.
The trail soon brought them to something far more unsettling, an old sealed tunnel carved straight into the mountain. The team froze in hesitation. Was this a long-forgotten passage through the wilderness, or a lair? With each step inside, the air grew colder. The overhead beams, rotten and decayed, creaked beneath the weight of a century's worth of earth and stone. The tunnel felt unstable and oppressively silent.
Oh, wait a minute. Look up at these planks above our heads. This is the only thing separating the soil from all that earth above to crashing down over top of our heads. That's been holding for 100 years.
Claw marks scarred the walls. Then came movement. A sudden, icy gust rushed past them, shattering the silence. Something was there.
There's something up here with us. I can smell it. Did you smell it there a second ago? That was real strong. That's a strong, gamey smell right now. Hang on. Just listen.
Deeper inside, the tunnel opened into a concealed cavern swallowed in darkness. Water dripped steadily, the air grew heavy, and then something moved ahead. A shadow, a figure, neither human nor easily explained. This was no longer just a search. It felt like a warning. Whatever claimed this tunnel did not want to be discovered.
Let's go a little further and see how far this thing goes. But if it doesn't come out the other side or give us answers, I want to head back to the surface. I don't like being back here, not like this. We have no reach to the outside world if something happens. Where's that breeze? You feel that? There's a breeze through here. Look at that. Oh, check this out. Wow.
Oh, wow, you can feel that breeze.
Yeah. There's water running out of it.
Oh, dear God, he's over your head.
Good. Oh, my God. Oh.
Reportedly captured on a doorbell camera in the mountains of Colorado, the uploader says he was alerted to movement on his deck and saw a large, upright, Bigfoot-like creature. By all appearances, this one seems to fit the description. Digging into the comments, though, many people are claiming it's AI generated. What do you think? It does feel a little too perfect to be real. The following footage was captured by a seasoned trail cam hunter who set up his camera deep in the forest to monitor wildlife activity. When reviewing the images, he came across this startling figure, which sent chills down his spine. The only thought that crossed his mind was to share this discovery with others, sparking curiosity and debate. Let's take a closer look at this mysterious photo. The image depicts a wooded area, rich with dense greenery and shadowed by the forest canopy. Among the trees, a figure can be seen partially obscured behind thick branches. At first glance, the figure appears humanoid, with features that resemble the legendary Bigfoot or Sasquatch. Its form suggests a tall, broad-shouldered entity, and what seems to be a dark, hairy texture covers much of his body. If you examine the photo more closely, the face becomes slightly distinguishable. Faint lighter areas suggest the presence of eyes and other facial features. But the intricate details are cleverly masked by the dense foliage in the foreground. This sighting has sparked a wide array of reactions. Some people are convinced this is undeniable proof of Bigfoot's existence, claiming the figure's posture and appearance match the descriptions of the mythical creature. To them, this is a breakthrough moment in the search for evidence of Sasquatch. However, others remain skeptical. They argue that the image could easily depict a trick of the light, a shadow cast by the trees, or even a person in costume, without clearer evidence. Many feel it's impossible to definitively confirm the figure's identity. Here's an interesting video. A young boy and his father were exploring Yellowstone National Park, admiring the elk, when the boy spotted a creature behind the herd. The father zoomed in on the grazing elk and slowed the video down. Circled in red, you can see the creature in the background, seemingly moving between a cluster of logs, possibly foraging for something. It's a bit too far away to make out clearly, but both the boy and his dad were convinced it was a Bigfoot. I'm not here to say what they saw, and honestly, I can't tell either. My main hesitation is that if it were a predator, the elk don't seem to notice at all, or if it is a Bigfoot, maybe the elk don't see it as a threat. I'd love to hear what you all think. Can anyone make out what that creature might be? When the footage aired on the History Channel, it immediately stirred up debate among critics and skeptics alike. On screen was something that looked straight out of a sci-fi thriller, a massive 8-foot-tall figure covered in brown hair, confined inside what appeared to be a reinforced cage. Armed guards stood nearby, tense and watchful. The only sound was the steady hum of machinery, amplifying the eerie silence that hung over the scene. For some viewers, the fact that this was broadcast on a major network gave the footage instant weight. Could it really be? Had Bigfoot finally been captured? But not everyone was convinced. Skeptics were quick to note how staged it seemed. The lighting was too perfect, the setting too controlled, more reminiscent of a movie production than a genuine wilderness discovery. And yet, there was no ignoring the figure inside that cage. The creature fixed its gaze directly into the camera, eyes sharp and intelligent, not feral, but aware and angry. That unsettling stare rattled audiences. Was it simply a man in a costume? Or were we witnessing something ancient and unknown? Then, breaking the tension, a man stepped into frame. He explained that they had intended to gather evidence, hair, blood, and tissue samples, in order to analyze the creature's DNA.
Okay, this is it. We're gonna have to tranquilize the animal again so that I can safely go in and get some samples. I'm gonna be taking blood, hair, and saliva so that we can compare to other sightings and establish a baseline genetic profile.
The mission was clear, to finally uncover the truth. What exactly is Bigfoot? But the creature had no intention of surrendering quietly. It slammed violently against the bars of its cage, every movement radiating raw power. This wasn't just anger, it was fury, unshaken by fear. The armed men kept their distance, weapons raised, eyes locked on the beast. The air was thick with tension. Then, the shot. A tranquilizer dart struck the creature square in the side. It jolted, but refused to give in, thrashing with relentless force. Only gradually did his strength begin to fade, until at last his massive frame buckled and collapsed into unconsciousness. The team rushed into the cage without hesitation, carefully collecting the samples they had come for while moving around the massive, slumped figure. The final shot lingered on the creature's still body, surrounded by armed men, a legendary being subdued, not by hunters, but by curiosity and cold science. Immediately the debate erupted. Had this been a historic discovery, or the most convincing stage performance ever? For believers, it was the proof they had long awaited. For skeptics, just another expertly produced mystery. But one thing was undeniable. No one could look away. This next clip comes from official government footage, and it's worth a close look. Cameras operated by the Washington State Department of Transportation at Sherman Pass captured something moving through the snow. Almost immediately, our brains start jumping to one conclusion. Watch closely as the figure crosses the frame. At first glance, it seems to fit what everyone suspects. But when we zoom in, the evidence isn't definitive. Something about it feels off. Notice how the figure deliberately turns to face the camera, almost as if it wants to be seen. The gait appears distinctly human, lacking the characteristic arm length and knee flexion often noted in authentic Bigfoot sightings. The movement isn't fluid like a natural creature. It's more consistent with someone in a costume. I had high hopes for this one. There's something compelling about footage from government cameras or stationary locations away from trails, but that also raises the risk of someone exploiting a well-known camera spot. Share your thoughts below, especially if you notice something I might have missed. The next footage was shot in Arizona, also a popular place for Bigfoot sightings. In this video, a group of campers stopped at a camping spot in the north of the state. While walking through the woods, they came across this structure.
So we found this weird-looking shelter structure while camping this weekend. As you can see, all the branches are snapped, not cut by tools in any way, shape, or form. It's stacked pretty strange in here. And we thought it was a hunting blind originally, but we climbed inside to the entrance and looked in it. And none of the entry points look like you'd be able to see any kind of thing out of it with the gun. So we kind of eliminated the thought that this may be a hunting blind. And it could be a person-built shelter, But it's kind of strange because these are pretty big logs up here inside of this thing, and just the way they're stacked in here, most people wouldn't waste the time to build this. Yeah, because this hill that this structure is on is very odd, and it's just a weird structure that's stacked up here.
As the men noticed, the logs were broken off, and yes, we can see it in such stills. A man cannot break such logs with his hands. If Bigfoot really did this, then it demonstrates strategic thinking and adaptability. Bigfoot does not just randomly break branches, but chooses a place and material with a specific purpose: safety, surveillance, and comfort. Some cryptozoology researchers hypothesize that Bigfoots build simple shelters or platforms out of branches and stones for protection and recreation. These structures are usually small, sometimes resemble makeshift sunbeds or canopies, and are found in hard-to-reach areas of forests. The main purpose of such buildings is to create a safe place where an animal can hide from a potential threat. In the case of Arizona's forests, this is especially important because the region combines wild woodlands, sparse woodlands, and rocky areas where humans or other predators can unexpectedly appear. In this frame, we're looking at one of those rare, chilling captures that instantly makes the hairs on your neck stand up. At first glance, your attention is pulled to the foreground. The leaves, branches, and thick tree trunks illuminated by the flashlight of the girl filming. But what truly locks your eyes in place is further back, deeper in the darkness between the trees. There, almost perfectly blended into the shadows, stands a towering figure with two glowing red eyes staring directly into the camera. The body appears elongated, blending with the tree line, but the eye shine gives it away. Something is standing there, watching. Many skeptics might dismiss this as pareidolia, or simply the reflection of an animal's eyes. But when you look closely, you see that these eyes are not at the level of a deer or coyote. They're positioned much higher, suggesting considerable height. The figure doesn't seem to have the posture of a common forest animal. It looks upright, with a broad frame, almost humanoid in shape. In the context of Bigfoot sightings, this is extremely compelling. The glowing red eyes are often reported by eyewitnesses who've had close encounters, especially at night when a flashlight beam or camera light catches them off guard. The eeriness comes from how motionless it stands, as if assessing the intruder in its territory. What's also fascinating here is the environment. Dense woods, little artificial light, and enough cover for a massive creature to observe without easily being seen. The fact that the girl didn't notice immediately but later spotted the glowing eyes only adds to the authenticity. Whether this is an apex predator of folklore or simply a misidentified animal, it's undeniable how unsettling and convincing this imagery is. To me, this lines up with the classic Bigfoot profile: large, elusive, intelligent, and always just on the edge of human perception. Here's a controversial photograph from the 1970s, originating from Fort McMurray, Alberta. This image has circulated widely and continues to ignite heated debates in cryptozoology circles. The story goes that a snowmobiler was out riding when something massive crossed the path ahead. Acting quickly, he grabbed his camera and snapped a photo of what he believed to be a Bigfoot. The figure in the photograph appears dark and bulky, moving through the snowy terrain with what some describe as an unmistakably non-human gait. After examining the image closely, several points are worth considering. First, the 1970s were a particularly active period for Bigfoot sightings, but this was also a time when winter gear was often bulky and dark-colored. What appears to be a muscular figure might simply be a person in a heavy snowmobile suit. Additionally, the image's blurriness, typical of 1970s camera technology, makes detailed analysis challenging. The timing of the photo raises another issue. Fort McMurray experiences limited daylight in winter, and the lighting in the image suggests it was taken during dawn or dusk, times when visual perception can be unreliable. The contrast between the snow and the dark figure could also create an illusion of greater size. That said, Alberta's vast wilderness has been the setting for numerous unexplained sightings over the years. Its remote forests and harsh climate could theoretically provide the isolation necessary for an undiscovered species to remain hidden. So, what do you think? Is this a case of someone in winter gear captured at an odd angle, Or did this snowmobiler manage to photograph evidence of something truly mysterious in the Canadian wilderness?